All right, so taking a look at this diagram as I was waiting for that last video to upload, these two right here, in my opinion, are in the wrong order. So prophase starts, this one's correct, because prophase starts with the nuclear membrane breaking down and the chromosomes becoming condensed and they look chunky and you can see them, which is exactly how that diagram there appears. Then what happens is the chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. And so they're lined up in no particular order in the middle of the cell, and then they get pulled apart, which is what this to me looks like. So they get pulled apart. That's anaphase. So it goes prophase, metaphase, meta meaning middle. So in that the chromosomes are lined up down the middle. Anaphase, the chromosomes are pulled apart to opposite ends of the cell. Then the new nuclear membrane is going to begin to form and the cell is going to split down the middle. And to me, that's what that looks like. Those chromosomes have all bunched up. The nuclear membrane is going to start to develop again. Clearly, this stage here is past this stage. So these two diagrams here are in the reverse order. But it goes prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. P-M-A-T. Poor men are thin. That's how I remembered it when I was in school. So anyway, here are the phases. So we're in interphase. Again, interphase, the cell is carrying out its normal cellular activity. It receives a signal. When it receives the signal, the chromosomes duplicate. This is still all in interphase. So now what we see is our chromosomes are in the form of sister chromatids. So DNA replication takes place. Then we move into mitosis. So the chromosomes become condensed. The nuclear membrane starts to break down. This is prophase. From prophase, you move to metaphase. And in metaphase, the sister chromatids or the chromosomes are all lined up right down the center of the cell. And so remember, these are sister chromatids. They're exact replicas of each other. So when I pull this sister chromatid to this side, this sister chromatid over here, and I do the same for all of the chromosomes, then each cell will receive an exact copy of the genetic information. And that takes place in anaphase. That's where the sister chromatids are pulled apart. And then in telophase, the nuclear membrane starts to reform. The cell starts to pinch down the middle, which is cytokinesis. So this is mitosis and what it looks like. And as a result of that, you will have a whole bunch of identical cells. So it's the final, cytokinesis is the final step where the cytoplasm divides, and then now you have two daughter cells, and those two daughter cells will either start doing work, they should start doing their work, or they can, start going into mitosis again. So now animal cells are different than plant cells because remember in plant cells, plants have a rigid cell wall. Animal cells do not have a rigid cell wall. So when we look at cytokinesis in animal cells, it literally looks like the pinching in of these two cells. And that pinch, that process right there of pinching them in, they say a cleavage furrow forms. And in plants, you can't do that. Because of the rigid cell wall, there's no way to pinch. This is cellulose material. This is the material that wood is made out of. And as you know, if you hit a tree, you know nothing about that. The cellulose cell wall gives way. And so plants, instead of producing a cleavage furrow, they start constructing a new cell wall right down the middle of the cell. That new cell wall is called a cell plate. Starts in the middle and grows out to the extending ends. And then once the cell plate has reached the edges of the cell wall, dividing the cell in half, you now have two new plant cells. So there's the rest of the chapter 5.6 that I'm having you take a look at is on genetic cloning, and I've included a really nice like cloning 101 so that you get an idea of how cloning works, keeping in mind that what cloning does is it makes a complete copy. So of course cloning occurs naturally. That's what identical twins are, is they are clones, cloned cells and cloned individuals, and that happens if during reproduction, if the cells, jump back here real fast, the very beginning. So how identical twins form is that in reproduction, if a cell, one of these early embryonic cells, if these cells become detached, they're supposed to remain attached to each other. But if they don't, and it's early enough in the development of the embryo, if some of those cells become detached, it will then produce a second embryo. And because that embryo was fertilized by this exact same it came from this zygote right here, fertilized by the same egg, fertilized by the same sperm, then the genetic endowment of those cells are identical to each other. You produce identical twins. Non-identical twins. So the non-identical forms are when a woman produces two separate gametes, two separate sperm enter. One sperm per gamete enters, and now you have a completely different genetic makeup than what, the one baby will have a different genetic makeup than the other baby. Those are non-identical twins, and those are far more common. What's interesting is non-identical twins can appear very similar to each other, which makes us now believe that the environment in which those embryos and those babies grew for those first 9 months, the environment played a huge role on dictating which of those genes would be expressed. So, still a lot to be learned in regards to reproduction and how it all takes place and what's controlling gene expression. So, which genes get expressed and which ones do not. So anyway, I've included a nice video on cloning 101. Take a look at that so you can actually see the process by which it takes place. You've got to have, a cell from one donor. It's usually the female donor. You remove from that donor her genetic information as far as the nucleus goes, so you remove the nucleus, you add another cell from a female's eggs, you end up with a embryo there. That embryo is going to be an identical make of the mom. So we've done it both, there's examples of it done in for reproductive cloning as far as animals go. We've also done it for therapeutic reasons, so there's lots of ideas for removing stem cells from cloned embryos, and then by giving them different growing conditions, you can produce different types of cells from them, because a stem cell is a cell that doesn't know yet what to become, and so they are uneducated cells with no predetermined kind of end result. And so by simply changing the environment, the nutrients that you give those cells will dictate what that cell becomes. That's where they're learning, becoming an educated cells. So they differentiate, process we call differentiate, and they differentiate into different types of cells. And now I can use those cells back to the patient, give them back to the particular patient, and those cells are from them, and so that will reduce the immune response of trying to reject them. So there's our information for this first round of chapter 5. So mitosis, 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 making complete copies of a cell making a copy of itself, necessary for growth and repair. So this is how you grow and repair yourself. All you're doing is making complete copies. So using your homework sheets and the stuff that I've given you, what you'll want to be able to do is identify what's taking place in the stages of mitosis and being able to track what's going on with these chromosomes, keeping in mind that these are now sister chromatids, they're complete copies. And I've given you a homework sheet that's asking you to track 2 pairs of chromosomes along the way. And one of those chromosomes I've darkened with ink so that you can consider one came from your mom, its other chromosome came from your dad, same size, same shape, they make up the pair. But the darker one's coming from one parent, the light one's coming from the other parent. So when you're done, you should end up with 2 cells that are genetically identical to each other. They should have a dark number 1 from your mom or dad, and a light number 1 from your mom or dad. A dark little 1, number 2, and a light little 1, number 2, and your 2 cells should be identical to each other. Okay? Well, I hope that you're still healthy and doing well. I hope that you're getting outside a little bit. Remember, we are allowed to go on walks. We're allowed to go for bike rides and do all that kind of stuff as long as we're social distancing, keeping our social distance correct. So I hope you're doing some of that because it does feel good to get out and get some of that sunshine. Today looks like a pretty nice day. And so anyway, I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you're doing well. I'm still looking into Zoom, and maybe we'll do a Zoom session during our lab time so that way if you're having any questions, you can ask me questions. But do know that you can email me at any time. So if this isn't making sense, or if there's confusion along the way of what you need to be doing, what papers you need to be filling out, please send me an email. Again, it feels very strange to not actually be seeing you and working with you and you know, able to see through your eyes and hear through your questions which parts are complicated. So be sure to reach out to me, and until we figure out how we'll, you know, if I'm going to Zoom or not Zoom you in, then stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck.